Hi, welcome to part 2 of our linking the fmESignature link DocuSign Edition solution to your FileMaker solution. In part 1 we covered the basics of linking the fmESignature link solution to one of your files. In this case we're using the FileMaker Contacts Starter solution as our demonstration, and we demonstrated how we can click on contacts and view all the contact details, and then create a request to one of your contacts from the fmESignature link file and send that off and have that sent successfully. So in part 2, so make sure you've watched part 1, because we're going to take everything we developed in part 1 into part 2. And in part 2 we're going to take it a step further, where we're going to try and generate a request from your FileMaker solution and have that created in the fmESignature link file. So basically I've got a layout over here which is our contract agreement, and that's the PDF that I want to send, and obviously I can't access that from the fmESignature link file. I could recreate the layout, but I'm going to sort of avoid that and show you another way that you can link your two files in both directions in this example. So okay, so to get started we need to go to your file, in this case our Contact Starter solution, and we need to create a file reference back to the fmESignature link file. So as with part 1, you've got a folder with your files in the same spot, or they could be on the same folder on your FileMaker server or wherever you host them. So let's go and create a new external data source from your file to our file. So once again we go to Manage External Data Sources, click the New button, click Add, and go and select the fmESignature link file, and we click OK and OK. And this allows us now to access the schema or the tables in the fmESignature link file. So we're going to create a number of new layouts and a number of new table occurrences. So let's go into Manage Database, and here's our graph. And so we're going to create one that's going to help us target the mobile phone number, similar to one we created in the fmESignature link file, and we're going to create some to access the requests and request contacts tables in the fmESignature file. So I'm just going to duplicate the phone numbers table, and I'm going to call this phone numbers mobile, because I just need to target the mobile phone number in case we're using the SMS delivery notification. If you're not using that, you can ignore that step. So once again, it's going to be primary key to foreign key, and we need to add on an additional predicate to target the mobile number of the contact, which is brain fade, which is the type field. So we're going to click Add. So primary key to foreign key and mobile to type, which gives us access to the mobile numbers for the contact. Now I need to create some table occurrences from the fmESignature link file. So let's go and choose that as our data source, and we want to get requests. What else do we need? We need request contacts, so we'll go back and choose that. Request contacts, okay. And I'm going to duplicate the requests because I'm going to create another relationship to target the particular request that we're going to create. So I'm going to call that requests selected. Request contacts, we're not going to create relationships to, we just essentially need those to access or to create layouts to view the data. And request selected, so I have added one extra field in here, which is the ZV Pivot GT Global text field that you'll see in our fmESignature solution. That's just a global utility field that we can use to target a particular request by its ID. So I'm going to create a relationship from that global field to the primary key, the KP request ID field in the requests table. Great, so I think that's all the table occurrences and relationship changes I need to make. Do need to create some new layouts, so let's go into Manage Layouts, and we'll just create some new ones that can be hidden. So let's choose, we're going to create a requests one, and I'll just call that dev requests. Okay, and we'll create another new one, which is request contacts. So that'll be dev requests contacts. Okay, so they can be hidden. There is one important thing you need to do on the requests, dev request layout. We just need to add one field to that, and that's the container field that we're going to insert the PDF that you're going to generate from your solution into that, and that's basically the equivalent of what's the same field as the this PDF field over here in the request table, which is called FileMaker generated PDF. So we've just added the FileMaker generated PDF to the dev request layout, and that just allows us to create a PDF and insert it into that field when we create a request layout from your solution. So let's save that, and we'll go back to the contact details page. Now, what I need to do is go and create a new template over in here. Now, what you can do is duplicate one of the existing ones. So it depends, obviously, how your template or your FileMaker layout's constructed and where you want your DocuSign tabs or fields to be placed. I'm going to use my, if we're going to have a look at my layout, so I'm just going to layout mode and go to my contract agreement layout. It's a pretty simple layout. It's 3 pages with some spots down here for the DocuSign tabs, and you can see I've got some hidden what are called anchor strings or autoplace fields here. That's grouped, so you can't see that. I'll just ungroup that. No, it's not grouped. It's in there. And I've got some copies of these over here on the right in red, and they're basically, if we look at the autoplace agreement PDF in our solution, I just copied the same ones that we have here. Sorry, wrong layout. It's that one there. So I've sort of copied similar structure to this. It just uses those hidden anchor strings that are in white text on the white background. And we'll go back to our request form layout. Okay. Oh, sorry, we need to go to templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the autoplace agreement example. It's for 2 recipients and it's got 4 DocuSign tabs on it. So let's duplicate that. And I've only got 1 recipient, so I can get rid of all the ones for recipient 2. So if I hold down the Shift key, I think I can delete these quickly. Delete that. No, I can't. Delete that. And delete that. Now I've only got the name, the signature, and the date, so I don't have any radio fields, so we can delete that one as well. So let's call this contract from contacts contacts file, and I'll come back with a description, and we'll just put please sign the contract. Okay, now the layout is in our file, so we're going to make some changes around this shortly, so I can just delete that. We're going to be supplying the PDF already, so we don't need the fmESignature link file to create the PDF for us. So I've got my 3 DocuSign tabs for date, sign, name, and signature. So we can get out of here, don't save any changes to that. So here's my agreement. So let's go back to my contact details page. Okay, so we're getting close to being ready to generate a PDF and send it. So the next step is we need to create a script to basically do what the script in our send request does. It creates the PDF, creates a new request record, or actually that's already created, but it creates the PDF and gets it ready to send. So in our case, we need to do a number of things. We need to create a new request. We need to add our contact as the request contact. We need to insert the PDF from over here into that field and basically get it ready to send. So there's a number of steps involved, and you can copy steps from our file to get you started. Just to save on time, I've got a copy of this file that has a copy of that script already, so I'm just going to go and copy that script, which is this one here. So we'll just make a copy of that, close that file, come back into here, and I can just go and paste that in, and there's a few errors that I need to fix, which is fine. Once again, if I can right click and go check for problems, that will highlight all the errors. So there's a number of errors that I need to fix. So that's all good. So let's just work our way through them. So I've created a new template. The template ID is template 1007. So that's actually worked out well. That's exactly the same here. So let's go and fix these. So that's going to be requests template ID, and then we need to go to the FileMaker generated PDF field on our dev request layout, and we need to insert into that same field. Okay, so that's all pretty straightforward. There's an error here, so I must have changed the table clearance name slightly by the look of it. So that's just going to be the primary key to the request that's created. And once again, we need to go and set some fields in the request context table. So that's going to be request ID, that's going to be contact ID, that's going to be email, that's going to be the phone mobile, and that's the position, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'll save that. That looks pretty good. And we'll just check for any problems, and nothing that I can see, so that's good. Okay, so almost there. We'll close that. Now, if I was to do this and then send the agreement, FileMaker, or the way that the script in the request table is set up, it's if my template, which in this case is a FileMaker layout template, the script is designed to go and create a PDF of the layout based on the layout name in this field, and that's empty. So we need to sort of work around that. So let's go back to request just to set the context right. And so there's a number of ways you could work around this. You could have a sort of special script that is designed just for your solution that works around this, or just as a quick example in this solution, let's go and find the script that generates the PDF. So it's the create envelope script here. So this bit here where it's wanting to create a PDF for the layout, we don't need to do that. So we could have some parameter, for example, that bypasses that based on a value that you pass from your solution, or some other. There's many ways to achieve this. So I'm just going to disable those just for this demonstration, because it's not going to work when we've already created the PDF from our file. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. So the idea is that this script will create a request, add the contact, and put the PDF into the sent PDF file. So let's go to my test record, which is this one. Yep, that's great. So Reese. So I can just go and run that script. I won't bother putting a button on it for now. So we'll run the script and see what happens. So let's create a record. I've now got 3 records here. If I switch over to this, you can see it's selected the appropriate template. It's created a PDF into that field, and if we save that to the desktop and have a look at it, that all looks pretty good. It's got my DocuSign tabs there, and it's got a bit of merged data up here. Okay, that's great. The contact's there, so let's go and hit send request and see if that works. Okay, excellent. So that request has been sent successfully. I can just confirm that by going to my mail client and just checking for any new emails. And here's my one message that's coming through. Great, there's my request from DocuSign. So that was sent successfully, and it's got Reese Cartwright's name there. So that all worked great. So yeah, just wrapping up. That's how you can take the linking integration a step further and generate PDFs from your solution, create requests in our solution, and pass all the details through and send it. You could, in this demo, I'm clicking the send request button in our solution, but you could obviously automate that yourself and perform that particular script from your solution as well. I was just keeping it simple for this demonstration, but you could automate the whole end-to-end process. And furthermore, you could also automate the getting the request status and downloading form data and so on from your solution. Because now that we have access If I go to that dev request layout, now we can see all the requests that have been sent, and I could add additional fields here or create layouts so you could access all that data. So yeah, thanks for your time.